Welcome to the 2021 Heart of America Athletic Conference Women's Volleyball Media Day. I'm your host, Stephen Davis. We are pleased to be joined right now by the MidAmerica Nazarene head women's volleyball coach, Molly Karagyarav. Coach, how are you doing today? How close did I come on your name there?
Really good. Yeah, very good. Impressive.
Thanks for joining us today. I understand before we start, congratulations are in order. You are a new mom, correct?
I am, yeah. I welcomed my daughter into the world in March of 21 last year. Right in the middle of where the Heart said, oh, we're going to move the conference tournament to March. And I said, oh, super, on my due date. Okay, cool, let's do it. So yeah, but me and my husband are very excited. She's awesome.
Awesome. Well, and things worked out okay on the volleyball side. You're able to pull double duty. How tough is that, being a new mom and coaching a volleyball team and coming off a pandemic season, everything all rolled into one? How do you balance your time so well?
Oh man, I don't know if I do it well, but I do it. But honestly, I'm blessed with people around me, a husband who's very attentive, and a family unit I'm from the Kansas City area. And so the family unit's around and was a huge help. And then my kids are, love her and love having her around, and so helpful and so understanding that when people ask me, what my maternity leave was like, I was like, I was in the gym 6 days later. We were at the national tournament 3 weeks later. So it was like, what maternity leave? So it is tough, but again, just by the grace of God, navigating it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about your team a little bit. You guys got an early start to the season already, 4 games down in Florida and West Palm Beach. What were some positives you were able to take from those early matches?
Yeah. Some positives is that we are nowhere near our ceiling. So we had, let's see, 5 trainings prior in the course of 2.5 days, something like that, before we went to Florida. So obviously we wanted to get in a trip because I think that's exciting for good for team bonding. We saw a lot of growth as far as the not the X's and O's, but just the women coming together and getting to know each other in a real way, some quality time spent that we haven't been able to do. And with COVID last year, we weren't even staying in hotels. So I felt like we missed that aspect. So we definitely saw some growth there. And then athletically, it's not a secret that we went 0-4. The teams down there were strong and we weren't ready. But with only 2.5 days under our belt, we weren't expecting much other than to play some games. So we definitely saw some positives. We brought in 3 transfers and 1 freshman to my varsity squad that all will contribute this year. And so we're excited about what that means. And I think athletically, we definitely have some potential. It's just a matter of when we'll get there. And, the goal is always peak in November, so we'll see.
Well, you've got some practice time now to get back in the gym, work with your team in a practice setting before you get back to match action. What are some things you want to see from your team over these next few weeks with practice before you get back into matches around Labor Day?
Yeah, these weeks have been a lot of getting on the same page, just the simple things of systems, defensive systems, offensive systems, tempos with new setters and hitters. All those things matter. I think that those were things that we couldn't do in 2 days. And so it was just a matter of kind of, what do you call this ball and what do you call this ball? And then let's go play. And so now it's just really getting into what kind of offense do we want to run? Where are our strengths and how are we, this specific group, going to win this year? And I think that it's a different group than we had last year, but definitely there's a big upside in some of the kids that we have. So this week's been intense, having a good preseason and joining our reserves. Our reserves joined us as well. And so it's been good, but I think that ultimately we got to find ways to score. And our ball control and our systems are always pretty good and pretty clean, but we have to find ways to score. And that's been our primary objective this week.
You mentioned the differences in your team last year when you made the national tournament to this year in terms of personnel. Who are some of the returners that you have back from last year, though, that you're counting on to be leaders on this squad?
Yeah, I'd say most notably is Jennifer Roth. She was a senior last year, but she's calling this her grandma season, thanks to COVID. So coming back, she was getting a double bachelor's and finished 1 bachelor's in May and then finishing this one in December. And so she's coming back She was an All-American for us last year and an all conference the last 2 years. So we're returning her. She's fresh off of a shoulder surgery though. And so starting a little bit slow. But over time, again, that will be awesome to see her grow. But she just got cleared for overhead anything 2 weeks before Florida. So it was slow, but she's coming back. And other than that, we really are new in almost every position. Teresa Saunders is also in the middle. She was an all-conference middle for us coming back. But Teresa really didn't come on until the spring of last year. Last fall, she was in and out of the rotation in the middle on the right side, and then came on in the spring and was definitely a presence at the national tournament in that game against Dort and really solidified herself as a starter. But yeah, those were the two notable ones coming back as far as all conference players. And then we have our Serbian right side outside. She can play both coming on this way. We called on her last May and said, we need you to be a leader in the fall. And she's really stepped up to the plate. So I'm excited to see who's going to earn the positions and where we're going to be in a 5-1 and a 6-2. It's always interesting.
How about those newcomers? You mentioned there's so many of them. Who are some who have stood out to you here early in the season who are going to have a chance to see lots of court time?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of them saw major court time in Florida, except for one wasn't eligible in Florida. So she hasn't been on the court yet, but she just came through the eligibility center. So she'll be at Bellevue, and that will give us a different look for sure. But 3 kids coming from JUCOs that were all good, solid players. Milena Hollinger is in the middle for us that will see significant court time, as well as 2 pins, both coming from JUCOs, but both international players, one from Peru and the other from Bolivia, that bring ball control, that bring point scoring ability. And so I think that definitely our pins will be a big strength. And then with having 2 solid middles, we'll definitely have a more diversified offense. Whereas last year we were really 2-dimensional in Jen and our senior All-American who graduated, Jackie, in the middle. So I think it will be a different look, but I think it will be a good look. We just got to find our rhythm and stay healthy.
Coach, you mentioned early on you're from the Kansas City area. You played there at MidAmerica Nazarene. You now coach at MidAmerica Nazarene. How has that school and the community there shaped you into the coach and person you are today? And what does it mean to you and your family?
Yeah, MNU is my place. I'm a pioneer, till I die. It's a place that's given me so much. It gave me my education, both in my bachelor's and my master's. I met my husband at MNU. I've had my little brother came to MNU for a while. My little brother is now my assistant coach. And so much of this is some of my best friends, some of my mentors, all of these things that really came into my life at a pivotal point when I had to decide how I was going to live my life. And so to be back and now be able to, speak into other young women and hopefully have an impact on them, a positive impact on them is huge because I know the impact it had on me and it was life-changing. So to be back at MNU is a dream. And so when the job opened up, it was a no-brainer to throw my hat in, and I was thrilled over the top when I got it. So definitely a pioneer for life.
Coach Molly, great stuff. Thanks for the time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.